Florida's Trump Act, a descent into legal barbarism? Is Florida about to cross a line that no civilized society should ever approach? The proposed Trump Act isn't just about immigration. It's about the potential for state-sanctioned cruelty and the erosion of fundamental legal principles. Florida is teetering on the edge of enacting what can only be described as a draconian immigration law. This isn't just about border security, it's about the potential for judicial overreach. The Tackling and Reforming Unlawful Migration Policy, Trump Act, as it's formally known, aims to aggressively tighten immigration enforcement within the state. But at what cost? The Act's implications extend far beyond Florida's borders, potentially setting a dangerous precedent for other states. This is a pivotal moment in the national immigration debate. The most alarming aspect of this bill is its mandate: the death penalty for undocumented immigrants convicted of capital offenses. This is not a measured response. It's a descent into barbarity. This provision is not only contentious, but also raises serious questions about its constitutionality and ethical implications. Is this justice, or is it vengeance? Critics rightly argue that this provision is discriminatory, inhumane, and a blatant violation of fundamental human rights. It's a stain on the state's legal system. The bill's passage has been marked by tension between Governor DeSantis and the Florida Legislature. This power struggle has resulted in a law that is both extreme and potentially unconstitutional. DeSantis, a vocal proponent of stricter immigration policies, has been a driving force behind this legislation. His influence cannot be understated. He initially deemed the bill watered down, revealing his desire for even more extreme measures. This raises serious concerns about his commitment to due process and fair treatment. DeSantis even threatened to veto the initial bill, demonstrating his willingness to hold the state hostage to his hardline immigration agenda. This is not leadership, it's political maneuvering. Lawmakers have scheduled a special session to consider revised versions of the bill. This is a desperate attempt to salvage a deeply flawed piece of legislation. The revised bills are supposedly aimed at addressing DeSantis's concerns, but it's unclear whether they will actually improve the situation. The devil is always in the details. The session is expected to be heated, with intense debate over the bill's constitutionality and ethical implications. This is a battle for the soul of Florida's legal system. Democrats have voiced strong opposition to the bill's provisions, highlighting its potential for abuse and discrimination. Their concerns are valid and should not be dismissed. There are serious concerns about the rushed passage of the bill, which has not been subject to adequate scrutiny or public debate. This is a recipe for disaster. The potential for discriminatory enforcement is a major concern, as the bill could disproportionately target minority communities. This is not justice, it's prejudice codified into law. The outcome of the special session will have a significant impact on Florida's immigration policy, shaping the lives of countless individuals. The stakes are incredibly high. This could set a dangerous precedent for other states considering similar legislation, leading to a nationwide erosion of immigrant rights. This is a slippery slope. It highlights the ongoing national conversation about immigration reform, exposing the deep divisions and conflicting values that define this debate. This is a battle for the soul of America. It also addresses the role of states in shaping federal policy, raising questions about the balance of power between state and federal governments. This is a constitutional crisis in the making. Newsweek reports that Florida lawmakers will reconvene for a special session this week to discuss this sweeping immigration package. The eyes of the nation are on Florida. The package would require illegal immigrants convicted of capital offenses to be handed the death penalty. This is a shocking proposal that demands immediate scrutiny. Newsweek has contacted Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' office and lawmakers for comment via email, but their silence speaks volumes. What are they hiding? The Florida Legislature passed the Tackling and Reforming Unlawful Migration Policy, or Trump Act, in a special session last month. This was a rushed and ill-considered decision. This happened after rejecting proposals from DeSantis, highlighting the internal power struggles within the Republican Party. This is not about good governance, it's about political posturing. Lawmakers and DeSantis had sparred over whose proposals would be better to aid President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown. This is a clear indication that the bill is politically motivated. DeSantis criticized the bill as watered down, revealing his extreme views on immigration enforcement. This is a dangerous sign for the future of immigrant rights in Florida. He pledged to veto it if it was sent to his desk, demonstrating his willingness to hold the state hostage to his hardline agenda. This is not leadership, it's tyranny. During this week's special session, lawmakers will consider modified bills that address the governor's concerns. This is a clear indication that the bill is being tailored to appease DeSantis' extreme views. Democrats have slammed the bill process as rushed, highlighting the lack of transparency and public input. This is a clear violation of democratic principles. They have also criticized provisions in the bill, raising concerns about its constitutionality and ethical implications. Their voices must be heard. The Trump Act is not just a piece of legislation, it's a symbol of the growing hostility towards immigrants in America. It's a reminder that we must remain vigilant in defending the rights of all people, regardless of their immigration status. This bill is a stain on Florida's legal system and a threat to the fundamental principles of justice and equality. It must be challenged and overturned. The death penalty for undocumented immigrants is not only inhumane, but also unconstitutional. It violates the Eighth Amendment's prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment. This bill is a clear example of the dangers of political extremism and the erosion of democratic values. We must stand up and fight against it. The Trump Act is a reminder that the fight for justice and equality is never over. We must continue to advocate for the rights of all people, regardless of their immigration status. This bill is a test of our commitment to the principles of justice, equality, and human rights. We must not fail this test. The Trump Act is a dark chapter in Florida's history, but it is not the final chapter. We can and must do better. The implications of this bill extend far beyond Florida's borders. It could set a dangerous precedent for other states considering similar legislation. This is a national crisis that demands a national response. We must work together to protect the rights of all immigrants. The Trump Act is a reminder that we must never take our freedoms for granted. We must always be vigilant in defending our rights and the rights of others. This bill is a call to action. We must stand up and fight for justice, equality, and human rights. The Trump Act is a challenge to our values as a nation. We must rise to the occasion and show the world that we are a nation that believes in justice for all. This bill is a reminder that the fight for a more just and equitable world is a long and arduous one, but we must never give up. The Trump Act is a testament to the power of fear and prejudice, but it is also a testament to the power of hope and resilience. We must never lose hope. We must never give up on the fight for a better world. The Trump Act is a reminder that we are all connected. We are all part of the human family. We must treat each other with respect and compassion. We must stand up for each other's rights. The Trump Act is a call to love. We must love our neighbors as ourselves. We must love our enemies. We must love all people, regardless of their immigration status. The Trump Act is a call to action. We must stand up and fight for a world where justice, equality, and human rights prevail. The Trump Act is a dangerous and unconstitutional piece of legislation that threatens the fundamental rights of immigrants in Florida. It's a descent into legal barbarism that must be stopped. Don't let this injustice stand. Contact your Florida representatives today. Demand they reject this inhumane bill and uphold the principles of justice and equality. Share this video to raise awareness and join the fight against this egregious violation of human rights. Subscribe for more critical legal analysis and help us hold those in power accountable.